What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here. It's Dean 7804. If you want to get all technical on me in the DFS circles, that's 5:30 on the dot on the East Coast, 2:30 West Coast, 4:30 Tennessee time. So, of course, that means it's time for the flagship show here at Rotogrinders. It's called Grinderslive. Joining me today, Will, Chief Justice. Will, you got me excited. We were talking pre-show, and you said like you even shocked yourself as far as your favorite team on this slate. And we're going to get into it, of course. It's a monster. 14 games. There's one afternoon game. I think Minnesota was playing somebody, basically a full slate on a Tuesday. And my response was, well, I don't have a favorite team because all the hitting kind of sort of stinks. We have one, maybe two teams above 5 as far as the totals, a slew of good pitchers, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But yeah, before we dig in and break it down and all that good stuff, what's up, Will? Hello. Hope things are good in your world. And yeah, give me your general assessment, your general overview as far as the slate, because you say you can hold back as far as your favorite stack for now. Tease the people a little bit. But, yeah.
You know, we got because we're going to have SBK coming in about 15 minutes with the projections team. I'm just kidding. That was NBA. I'm just kidding. Man, that was a good little segment, though.
Hope he's doing well.
Yeah. At any rate, I like the slate. I mostly like every slate. Like I feel like I can always find the edge. That's the advantage of immersing yourself in tournaments. You get to, do crazy things sometimes. And when all the stars align and those crazy things are not what the other smart people are doing, generally you come out okay, especially in baseball. So I'm really excited. I do want to say, even though, we've got all the publication out, shout out to my man, Stevie TPFL, Stephen Young, 1,000 episodes of the morning grind this week. What an accomplishment. So thanks, Stevie. I've been able to come along for the ride with a host of other people. I know he talked about Dean being able to cover doing COVID. Dean had
it took him a long time to get there. I listened to the podcast, not to cut you off or anything. And yeah, congratulations, Stevie. 1,000's a big number. And I hosted a few, and I also co-hosted as well. But yeah, he was like running out all the people when he was like, Siege, who I think had a big chunk of for a while there. Jeff the Jeff, Beer Makers fan, yourself, and Grant were on the pot. And he ran off like 8 or 9 more names. He's like, I know I'm going to forget somebody. I know. And me just like all about my ego. And like, well, what about me? Save me. Where's mine to give me the shout out? And he ran off like 20 more names. And then he eventually said, oh yeah, that Dean guy too. So he finally stuck me in there. So yeah.
And honestly, during COVID, if you missed those episodes, Dean was interviewing fantasy personalities from all across the landscape. I mean, I thought that was a really good
Including
segment.
Yourself.
During COVID, I did have one on there. I thought that was a really good segment while we were down. But yeah, all in all, Stevie's one of my good friends in the industry, and I got a lot of good friends. If you're nice to people, typically they're nice back. So be more nice, everybody, and you'll have more friends.
I got you on the Family Feud. I had this conversation, I think, with Grant one day, and like we made like the Family Feud board of like the nicest people in the industry. You're on the board. They were not a big old X for you. You're on the board. I think Dave Potts, Cheese is Good, also on the board.
Yeah, Dave.
Not gonna say he was not. We didn't really. There's really, to be fair, there's not many. Like I've had very few like negative interactions. I know that's like the juicy stuff that people want to hear. Who wants to hear it? Somebody's nice. Like that's not fun. That's not interesting. But for the most part, I've had really good interactions, like 98% of the time. Do want to say hello to the chat. We have 99% positive interactions with the chat as well.
And we're at 99 people watching. We got 99 problems, but the chat ain't one. Come on, chat. Give us some likes. Give us some likes here.
99 likes. I guess everybody just hits the like button all at once. We do appreciate that. It helps keep the lights on. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, fire off some questions as well too. There is a lot going on in this slate. If we don't mention the guy that you're thinking about, feel free to ask us. Doesn't mean we don't like him. we're not neglecting or holding back. There's a lot to dig into over the 50 minutes we're going to be here for. Of course, if you guys are premium members, you'll get yourself, the aforementioned Grant Neefer will be on premium today, along with Kevin Roth. If you guys watched Roth yesterday on premium, he said, and like I was in the fence, and he said, you guys can play. He's like, you can play Houston. I don't know if you saw those pictures. You see the pictures yesterday in Baltimore? It looked really gloomy. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to play the Astros in this.
Ominous is the word, Dean, on those. I mean,
yeah,
I thought a tornado was about to descend on Camden Yards. And lo and behold, the game plays, have a little delay in the 8th. They come back out, score a few more runs, pinch hit half of my lineup, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's baseball.
So I wonder if that game would have kept. Well, I guess so. There was a no-hitter at the time. There was a combined no-hitter on the Houston side. Angel Hernandez was out there checking the middle reliever, whatever, for Boston for any sticky stuff, and like they're getting poured on, and he's like checking his hands. It's like, what do you do? These guys can't grip the baseball. It's pouring. It's like one of the worst relievers in baseball. I think it's like his first time basically in the majors. I mean, I understand the umpires have been instructed to do a job, but like, whatever. I'll get off my soapbox. It's a 14-game slate. We don't have time for this nonsense. All right, 14-gamer studs galore. It's absolutely ridiculous. Garrett Cole. Oh, we should mention some guys coming back, some guys not coming back. Do we have an official Dodger lineup? Because I know we're expecting
body parts baseball. Here we go, D. Come on, body parts baseball. No, I'm fine with it. That's what I'm saying. We don't get body parts too much for baseball.
Well, it's actually kind of sort of – we'll talk about the Astros, and the Astros are super chalky tonight in a 14-game slate, and it's worth noting that 3 of their best players are not playing baseball tonight. There's other Astros that are playing, and they're still in a good ballpark and yada, yada. But Correa, of course, not playing, just a day off. Bregman's on the IL, and Tucker, who had some sort of sickness. I don't think it was COVID-related, and they said he lost 10 pounds, and I guess they're giving him another day. He's not back just yet either. Adalberto Mondesi on the IL. That's brutal. I love him. Ditto with Buxton. Buxton got hit right in the hand last night.
Buxton's on the IL half of every season. A foot, a knee, a hand, an ankle, an ear, a broken tooth. He's always out.
That sucked. And like he was like he went right to first base and he kind of waved off the trainers, but then what do they call it? Like a boxer hand, or I can't remember what they defined it as, but he broke something and he's gonna be gone for a while again, or fractured it, and just brutal. Luke Voit is back for the Yankees. He's going to be playing some baseball tonight. We also have, because there's a lot of guys coming back tonight. Conforto is playing baseball tonight for the Mets. McNeil is back for the Mets as well. I think he came back yesterday, if you want to get all technical. We're expecting Muncy to come back for the Dodgers. I think he's been activated, potentially Bellinger as well. Not the best spot against the lefty there, and Snell. Who else? Wander Franco. Wander Franco is 2K on DK. Batting, biggest prospect in all of baseball, not even a conversation, indisputable. Every prospect guy has him number 1. And he's 2K on DK batting second versus Erod. He's 2.5 on FanDuel. But yeah, I'm sure I missed somebody too. It feels like there's been a lot of, there's also a person named, this is a real person. I had STL cards confirm this. Lars Nootbaar. It's a person playing baseball for the Cardinals tonight. He's not in any player pool that I know, at least not on FanDuel or
We're
DK.
not picking at Lars Nootbaar. He did not name himself. And parents, I think you gave him a fantastic name.
It's Lars a great name.
Nootbaar. I mean, he was destined for some sports greatness, right? Coming up to that, at the plate, Lars Nootbaar. Ladies and gentlemen.
Did you see what Usain Bolt named his kids and his previous kids? It was amazing. Like, he's got incredible, they're puns with his last name. He just had twins. I'm going to find this. This is important. And you go ahead and open up pitching for me. There's so many studs to pick from as I Google Usain Bolt's kids' names, because, again, this is important stuff we have to talk about.
Yeah, we do have a lot of studs. And so what I'm going to do right now, I'm not really ranking. I will say this. I think it's a little bit more important on DK because the pricing on FanDuel, in my opinion, is a little bit more tight at the top than it is on DK. And so on DK, when you look, I think Giolito gives us a little bit more leverage just because of the price. Like, he's 9,400. Stroman is 9,600. Kyle Hendricks is 9,800. What in the world is going on with the algorithm there? Freddie Peralta is 10K. Zach Wheeler's 10.2. Max Scherzer's 10.8. Garrett Cole is 11K. I think Garrett Cole's in play at 11K. I think Wheeler's in play at 10.2. But I do think Giolito at 9,400 to me seems like a misprice for this slate. Perhaps him and Kyle Hendricks is just mispriced completely, but maybe he should have been at least 10K. And so I think
he doesn't strike anybody out. Like he's going to be like good and efficient for 7 innings, but Ks matter. And how many strikeouts is Hendricks going to get? That's
no. I'm talking about Giolito at 9,400.
Okay.
I'm saying Hendricks should have been nowhere near 9,800.
Okay,
you've got Giolito at 94. I mean, he seems like the obvious value play to me at DK in terms of price and upside. So he's a guy that I like. So I think he's number 1 on the board for me, actually, on DK because of the price. Number 2 for me it's going to be Garrett Cole. Believe it or not, though, number 3 is going to be Zach Wheeler. I really like Zach Wheeler today against Washington. I think this is real. The numbers say it. 32.5% K rate, 2.98% xFIP. Ground balls are still there on both sides of the plate. A little bit less to lefties, 43%, but 51% to righties. And then in terms of the righties, I mean, this is fantastic. Line drives under 20%, fly balls under 30, hard hit rate at 36%. But, and he's throwing some pretty high heat, and he's got a good mix, right? Like 35% sinker, 17% slider, 36% fastball. And they're all going to look pretty similar when they leave his hand. So I like Wheeler here, and the K rates on the Washington guy, Schwarber, he's going to strike out. He's not hitting 3 home runs today. He's going to strike out at least once. Turner may even strike out. Soto's at 14, but I'm not worried about it. Bell's going to strike out. Then you got Gomes, Castro, and Harrison. But these ISO rates are so low, you're going to be depending on positive WOBA for them to score fantasy points today. And I just want to side with Wheeler. So I do think on DK, Wheeler, Giolito, those are kind of my guys. On FanDuel, like I said, because it's so close, we're in a totally different discussion, in my opinion.
I also think it's worth noting as far as weather just around the country today. Nowhere is it hot. It was hot yesterday in Baltimore, like 85, 90, whatever it was. We're talking about 66 for Wheeler versus Scherzer. Giolito, 64, nice ballpark in Pittsburgh, jumping in the National League, gets the pick on a pitcher as opposed to a DH. I suppose there's a chance he gets pinch hit for in the 6th or the 7th or something like that. But I'll take the side of like picking on a pitcher and risk whatever the chances of him getting pinch hit for. A Yankee Stadium was 65 degrees. Also, Bill Miller. I saw somebody in chat talking about it. Bill Miller, very, very positive umpire. We have that behind the plate for you. And no Adalberto Mondesi in that Kansas City lineup. It's definitely weakened. Ryan O'Hearn. I feel like he hasn't hit much this year. Ryan O'Hearn cracks that lineup.
He struck out a bunch this year. I looked at the numbers earlier. He's in the 30s.
Tons of Ks. I mean, that's just a bump to Cole. Like, I know that, Hearn is definitely a guy who has the power if he actually hits the ball, Yankee Stadium, and Cole will give up homers. I think he's an interesting tournament play if you want to get goofy, and he's super cheap, obviously. But you love seeing him in the lineup against Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was, about as far as the sticky stuff, he was the guy, if you saw him multiple times, like he almost broke down and started crying about the like how difficult it was to throw the baseball, which is somewhat concerning to me. He was still good. And he still can just throw at 98, 99, and who cares? And he's got Bill Miller, and it's a weak lineup. There's no Adalberto Mondesi. Michael Taylor's another guy you love seeing in there. And a lot of Ks there waiting in the lurch. So it concerns me a tick. And this is a slate where you can absolutely be picking as far as the pitchers, because if you don't want Cole, then you can play Giolito. If you don't want Giolito, then you can jump. We'll talk about saving some salary as well too. You mentioned Wheeler. Wheeler is an absolute stud, and he's in that conversation for me as well. On DK, it's really, really easy to get 2 or 3 really good bats and get 2 of Giolito, Wheeler, and Cole. Like that. That's what I'm going to do. I'll be doing on my cash games. Like getting 2 of those 3, and in tournaments as well. You could shake up the shuffle and step down to a guy like Charlie Morton, who's like 7.3K. Nice matchup there for Morton against the Met team. I know they're going to have a couple bats back with McNeil, and also Conforto. But that price is still too cheap. Erod's too cheap. Ross Stripling is too cheap. But then the other part of that is like, well, what do you do with that salary? There's no great lineup. We'll have that conversation. And, of course, you can just overspend to be different. Just get away from if Houston's going to be chalky. That's very easy to get away from. Ohtani is so easy to pay for in this slate. We'll talk about it. Disco Steve's been pretty good, but Boner versus lefties and Ohtani's just out of this world. Do you have any other thoughts as far as separating Giolito, Wheeler, and Cole? I think it's really close. I would also throw Peralta into the conversation on FanDuel, where you get a meaningful difference as far as the asking price. It's going to be a pile of lefties, I believe, that he's going to be facing, which is not necessarily ideal. The K rate goes down a little bit, but they're bad lefties. I think it's 7 lefties in that lineup. Everybody but Walker. I know you play a lot on FanDuel. I see you're playing both FanDuel and DK tonight. I don't know, but thoughts as far as stepping down the Peralta? I think he's 9K over there, which that's a nice little savings.
Yeah. Well, let me do this. Can I clear up something on DK really quick? And I promise I'll answer your question.
Yeah, go for it.
But I think on DK, it's all about your approach. And for me, it's kind of like tiered pitching. I think you're perfectly fine. I think you can get away with 2 ace pitchers tonight. And I mean, ace priced pitchers like Giolito and up, right? But I do think in this 8K range, my favorite guy is Sandy Alcantara at 8,700. He's going to be facing a fair amount of righties tonight. And don't look now, but these K rates are a little bit higher than you think. With Toronto earlier this season, we were kind of harping on the fact that, man, Toronto's not striking out as much. Well, Marcus Semien, 22.9% K rate against righties. Bo Bichette, 24%. Vlad still at 17. Teoscar Hernandez, 28%. Biggio, 28.5. Grichuk, 23. And he gets a pitcher. I love Sandy Alcantara today. I really do. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out. So he's kind of my 8K range pitcher. My 7K range pitcher, obviously, Charlie Morton at 7,300. I think that's a misprice. And then, if we kind of get down to the 6K range, I am not a believer in Erod because Erod can't finish games right now. And he keeps having these meltdowns. Like it's just meltdowns. The guy has 8 Ks against the Braves and just has a meltdown. A legit meltdown. Just can't get out of an inning. I know Tampa Bay, they can't hit lefties. Okay, well, we'll see.
And Dave Potts, Jesus Good, wrote about how unlucky he's been this season too, Erod.
Look, I see the xFIP, so I'm not crazy, right? I see the xFIP. I see it's like 3.23. I get it, but until he gets it under control, I can't do it. And guess what? If Erod burns me today, there's another slate tomorrow afternoon. There's another slate tomorrow evening. I'm not buying into this Erod stuff, but that's just me. And then in the 5K range, earlier this is somebody Grant was on last night. I do think Brady Singer is probably in play today. I really do. And initially, I think I was going to play flexing over him. Trust me, don't look now. The Yankees are going to be striking out, folks. They will strike out. Brady Singer's throwing a lot of slider. Nobody on the Yankees is really crushing sliders right now. I looked this information up just for this show to make sure that I gave out accurate information. Yes, Brady Springer has a 23.6% K rate and a 4.4 xFIP, striking out righties at a 23% clip. He's throwing a slider at 37%. That's his go-to for strikeouts. And when I look at it, I don't see anything that makes me afraid of this Yankees lineup. I just don't. So, hey, maybe they get off, but Judge is at 26%, Luke Voigt at 34, Stanton at 31, Urshela, is my boy, at 22, Frazier at 26, and Higashioka at 33%. I'm not buying into the fact that the Yankees are about to run off a bunch of runs today. I actually really do like Brady Singer, and that's kind of a pivot from last night. I was okay with him last night, but the more I dug in today, I do think he has a pretty reputable start here.
My counter to Singer is I don't know how much I need that salary savings. Also, big opportunity cost at pitcher. There's going to be multiple pitchers that put up monster scores. I don't think Singer is one of them. He can definitely survive and be fine. Last time out, he was limited to 3 innings. He was on a pitch count because of a shoulder issue. But he will have Bill Miller calling balls and strikes. He's going to be calling balls and strikes both ways. And yeah, I agree with you. The Yankees, when they're not homering, when they're not dropping the power, they can absolutely strike out. I just don't know how necessary he is sort of my counter.
No, I get it. But I'm saying if you needed the savings, I do think Singer is okay. I just want to make sure I got that information out there. Now, let me answer your question. Freddie Peralta at 9.5K, I do like it on FanDuel. I think that's a great price. Me personally, I am still going to go after some of these higher tier pitchers because I think they have a little bit more K stuff, especially with Cole at 11K, Wheeler 11. I can afford to do it, and we'll get into why I can afford that as we progress. But that's kind of what I'm going to do on FanDuel. I'm going to stay up top tonight, where last night I did go down to Aaron Savale, and man, did that just crush my chances at taking a GPP down. He was on his way to probably at least 45-ish, fantasy points on FanDuel and just
he was cruising.
Yeah, he just got an injury, and there went my night. And
he went on the IL today. By the way, I like Alcantara too. I really wish it was a different slate. Like, I haven't looked at tomorrow's slate. I just feel like the pitchers are going to be bad because all the good ones are pitching tonight. I wish they kind of spread out. Unfortunately, it's kind of sort of feels like opening day to some degree. Of course, there's some really bad pitchers too, but you know what I'm saying as far as the top. And Alcantara's in really good form. Was electric last game. They're letting him go. I think he's thrown over 100 pitches in 2 of his last 3 games. In Toronto, it's a massive negative ballpark shift when you consider, in Dunedin and in Buffalo, and now they're in, Marlins Park here, and they're losing their DH. I like Alcantara. It's just I don't know how much I need him. But if I make a lineup and he's like the guy that I have like the salary for, and that's that, I'm perfectly fine playing him. I agree with you. I think he's a good call as well. We probably shouldn't ignore Clayton Kershaw. Like, Clayton Kershaw, it's another guy pitching in the slate that probably gets ignored to some extent. And I mean, again, I'm probably going to ignore him too because I like the other guys more.
Well, but Kershaw, I mean, he's got a much tougher matchup than some of these other guys. So I'm more than willing to just kind of take the pass. And that's kind of the approach I have. I mean, look, I don't dislike Kershaw. He's been pitching fine this season. Like, his numbers are okay. I just think I like the other matchups better.
Seattle lineup. Oh, there's no Torrens. I was hoping for Torrens. He's 2.3K on DK. He was one of my punt catchers in my shell lineup. All right.
Don't worry. I've got the punt catcher of the day. I can tell you that right now. I haven't.
Is it Jorge Alfaro?
Wow.
Is it?
You must have listened to the podcast, Dean. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please stack the Miami Marlins tonight.
What?
Don't get it twisted. The Marlins are about to I think they're going to hang a big number here. I looked at some numbers today. Ladies and gentlemen, my goodness. This looks like the spot of a lifetime. I know Vegas thinks that the Marlins aren't about to score any runs. I'm pleading with you to just go ahead and ignore Vegas today. Just they're not smarter than us today. They are not. I look at these numbers here on Stripling. And I'm not saying Stripling's bad, but what I am saying is this. Stripling has really struggled, even though the K rate is at 21%. He's having problems with righties this year. He's having problems. The hard hit rate's at about 40%. The fly ball rate's at 41%. And I mean, it's just serious problems. And then I look, he's going to be throwing this fastball 47% of the time, which is most pitchers in the MLB. I don't want to overinflate anything, but I'm trying to make my case for the Marlins. Well, if you go to our handy dandy plate IQ tool, Blues Clues.
I never watched Blues Clues.
Plate IQ, and you see what's happening, folks. Listen, Adam Duvall, book it right now. Looks like Dong City. 87.5% contact rate, 12% whiff rate, 7.69% ground ball rate, average hit distance of 345 feet, 429 ISO. I think Adam Duvall gets to hold the one. Well, wait a minute. What do you know? Mr. Jorge Alfaro, right down there at the bottom of the lineup, batting in the 7 hole, 57.14% hard hit rate, average hit distance of 359 feet. Contact rate is a little bit down, but I don't care about that. He's like 2,300 on DK. So it really does not matter. Jesus Aguilar, 500 ISO, 50% hard hit rate, 336.50 average hit distance, 84% contact rate, 15% whiff rate. Ladies and gentlemen, the last but not least, Starling Marte, 90% contact rate, 9.52% whiff rate. I think that our good friend, Mr. Ross Stripling, is going to have a tough time with the Marlins. And guess what happens when Ross Stripling leaves the game? Who does he pitch for, Dean? Can you tell me, please?
The Toronto Blue Jays.
Pitches for the Blue Jays. Where do you think the Blue Jays rank?
Well, I mean, they've been pitching in rough ballparks. I've already said the counter is like Stripling has faced some really tough teams and some really bad
I don't care. The numbers are the numbers. I'm ignoring all of this. Let's play Stripling crap today. Stripling gives up 5 and 3 innings minimum. I'm taking the Marlins today. And I know that's a bold call. I can't guarantee runs, but I'm really feeling it. I'm going with my head and my heart here. The Miami Dolphin Marlins are going to town today, people.
Are you a Marlins fan secretly?
I'm absolutely not a Marlins fan. I'm a Braves fan to the core. But Stripling gets destroyed today.
By the way, Jesus Sanchez is 2K on DK, and he's got a ton of power. Like, he's going to strike out a good bit, but if he gets a hold of it, I think he's kind of sort of something interesting. If you're talking about Miami, and as far as the stack, you can get him very easily with 2 aces and other good stuff. I'm not sure. I imagine you probably built that the way you're talking about it.
I'm absolutely playing the Marlins today. You already know this. This is why I can play any pitchers I want. And don't worry, we got some more cheap. I like the cheap teams today more than I like the Astros. Newsflash, I'm not telling you to do this, please. This you can ignore. You don't have to do this. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I won't have a single Houston Astro in my lineup today. I mean 0. I played them yesterday because they were a much better chalk in my opinion. I will have 0. Now, I'm not saying Jorge Lopez is great. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying on a 15-game slate, 14-game slate, I'm looking at Houston ownership. And we've got these guys, 26% Altuve, 23% Brantley, 25% Alvarez on a 14-game slate. Yesterday was 6 games, much different scenario. I will not have a single Houston Astro bat in my lineup today. But I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you what I'm doing from a tournament perspective. 0 Astros will be in the Chiefs' bill, not 1.
2 things we got to clean up. First of all, I promised the chat the names of Usain Bolt's kids.
Yes, we need them.
Olympic Lightning Bolt. Amazing. St. Leo Bolt and Thunderbolt.
Oh, of course.
Incredible.
I'm glad his last name wasn't Cats. Thundercats.
Second thing, let's clean up the pitchers because, we kind of brushed past Morton. I think that's kind of sort of something interesting.
Yeah. Let me clear this up. Big Tech 69. Listen, that's why I gave you my caveat. You don't have to do what I'm doing. I would never tell you to fade Houston in a good spot. I'm just saying for the size of the slate and the magnitude of the ownership, there are plenty of teams that can outscore Houston today, and I don't feel the need. Versus yesterday, we're on a 6-game slate with very little. There was a lot more opportunity cost. So, Big Tex, I'm not telling you to not play Houston. I'm just not playing Houston from a tournament perspective. Sorry, Dean. Back to the show.
You're good. I think we'll talk Houston. There's going to be some bad chalk on Houston, I think. For Toro or if Robel Garcia, it feels like just terrible chalk, just terrible. And I say that as somebody that might play him like in a cash game, but it's a terrible chalk piece. And again, their lineup is significantly weakened with 3 guys out. Doesn't mean Altuve and Brantley and Gurriel and then Yordan Alvarez aren't good. Miles Straw has like 1 home run and 500 at bats or something like that. He's got some speed, whatever. And if that's where everybody's going to gravitate to, again, it's 68 degrees in Baltimore, great ballpark, locked in for 9. Jorge Lopez is not good, that bullpen, whatever. They did call up like some 30-year-old. I don't know if he's going to be coming out of the pen. I'm not really sure who it was, but I saw it before the show, some random dude. Baltimore, this is the team that's playing Matt Harvey. So like they're out of pitchers or something. We'll talk about the hitters soon enough. But I just want to mention that Jordan Lyles expected to relieve Taylor Hearn as kind of the opener. And maybe that makes Oakland kind of sort of somewhat sneaky. Maybe that makes a guy like Matt Olson kind of sneaky, because left on left, you can't play it. But Matt Olson's been on fire. But, there's a lot of good pitchers. And Jordan Lyles, if he pitches 3 or 4 innings today, he's definitely not one of them. We brushed past Hendricks. Hendricks is really good, but he's a good real-life pitcher, not a great DFS pitcher. Same deal with Stroman. I think Stroman's legit. But, if he has 1 inning where he scuffles, it's hard for him to recover because he's just not the kind of guy that's going to strike out 8 or 9 or 10, just got to make up the difference. Hold on.
Oh, go ahead. Let's clear this up right now, Dean. Let's clear this up right now. Hendricks was a good real-life pitcher.
He's better now. I think he's fine.
No. I'm not letting us off the hook with this. He was a good real-life pitcher. These numbers to lefties this season are atrocious. I don't care I'm looking at these numbers. 305 ISO to lefties, 410 WOBA to lefties, 44% hard hit rate to lefties, 24.5% line drive rate to lefties. I'm even more interested in that. Now, he does have a 22% K rate and a 7% walk rate, but this notion that Kyle Hendricks is a good real-life pitcher, he was a good real-life pitcher. I think he's on the decline. Well, what do you know? Some of the best hitters in Cleveland are lefties. It's Cesar Hernandez. It's Jose Ramirez. It's Eddie Rosario. Mr. Bradley. The lefties are the punchline to Cleveland. Nobody wants to play LaVarn away. Who is that guy? Nobody wants to play
I'm not playing him.
We don't want to play Ahmed Rosario. We want the lefties. And Kyle Hendricks, the wind's blowing out slightly. He could get punished today. And nobody's playing Cleveland because the notion says that Kyle Hendricks is a good real-life pitcher. And I'm here to debunk that myth, Dean. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying in terms of lefties this season, he's been awful. He's been terrible.
He's been better of late, though. A lot of those numbers are reflective of how bad he was in the start.
Okay,
we got to move on. We got to talk hitters. We got to get the questions in the chat.
We'll get there. Dean, it's 6:00. We got to get up by 6:20. We'll get there.
We got to go around the horn still. We got to.
We're good.
We'll do that quickly.
We're good. Let's go to the. Whatever. Right. Dean, anyway, I'm just telling you. I looked at these numbers. I don't see anything that suggests. In fact, I think he's gotten worse, Dean. When I look at the recent trends, his average hit distance is up 33 feet, right? His air distance. His average exit velocity is up 5.9 miles per hour. His average exit velocity when they're hitting the ball is up to 89.1, which is 3 more feet. They're getting more ideal hits, more value hits. He's behind in the count, 4% more. His swinging strike percentage is down 1%. The contact rate on his pitches is up 2% to 80%. His K rate's down 4.3% for the past 30 days compared to the year. So I'm just saying, I think Cleveland is in play. Man, I'm so passionate today. This is so fun. I know I'm taking this show off the rails, Dean. My bad.
You're
but
good, man.
Kyle Hendricks is not good this year. Play Cleveland. All right, I'm done. I promise, Dean. Get us back on track. I'm super sorry about that.
No, you're good. Max Scherzer, we're just ignoring him. Like, this is his first game back with the groin, and he's the kind of guy that has a great leash. That he's priced in full, 10.8K, second most expensive dude on DK. He's more expensive than Wheeler, more expensive than Giolito. Is there a chance Scherzer is the top pitcher on this slate? Are they going to let him go 100 pitches? I don't know, but he's interesting, like an interesting wild card. I don't know what to do with him. I'm probably not playing him, and I'm just hopeful that he could be fine, as long as he's fine. And I don't want that elite, like, top ceiling game out of him.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Scherzer, I'm only fading because he's coming off the injury and he's expensive, and I don't want to tie up 10K, 11K for a guy that, man, if he only goes 75 pitches, he could very well still get 9 strikeouts, right?
Yeah,
and go 5 innings, and you'd be okay. But I'd much rather have a guy that I feel like is for sure going the distance. Now, I will say this. I do know that Scherzer is a gamer, and he could very well just wave his manager off and say,
he doesn't want to come out.
You better not come out here, because I'm not coming out. Like, he could do this, and he's one pitcher I trust to do it, but it's the middle of the season. We're not at the end where they need the wins quite just yet. So I'm willing to take the fade on him today and go with some guys I feel like are going to play a little bit more.
Scherzer will give that desk there with his. Doesn't he have 2 different color eyes? I believe I'm pretty sure he's got 2 different color eyes going on. And like I'm sure you've seen, like, was a Pitching Ninja on Twitter, like the gifs of him just like staring or even barking at himself and yelling between pitches. He is definitely a gamer. We can say that. He probably didn't want to come out of the game when he came out for his groin. Who knows? But all right, we got to go quickly around the horn. What's up, chat? Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Golf show later on tonight. That is free. You got Notorious. You got STL Cards. You have Tambo as well. Tambo made a run. I guess he came close to winning the million last time. I saw on Twitter people are getting excited about it. He didn't, but I assume he put up a pretty good score. That is free for y'all. That's why you turn on notifications and subscribe. And also Card Stock After Lock. You're talking some cardboard later on tonight. That'll be good times for sure. If you guys care about the sports card industry, check out that. I believe 7:30, 7:45, give or take. We got to go quickly. Oh, and load up your questions. Devin, producer extraordinaire. He's going to be compiling them. You guys know how this goes down. Load up your questions. The more details, the better. It makes it easier for us to answer.
Mark it now.
Quickly.
Less than 3 minutes for QQs. That's what I'm estimating.
No. I mean, I can control this. I smashed the over.
We'll see. We'll see.
I got some inside information. We're going to have more than 3 minutes. We're going to go quickly. The hitters stink today. Catchers. You have any thoughts as far as catchers outside of liking the cheapie there for Miami?
Yeah. I do think that we can get away with a guy like Sean Murphy, Wilson Contreras. I do like Yadi Molina today as well. We get Screwball. And then, those are my main guys. Those are the main guys.
If you have all the salary in the world, I guess you can play some Posey. It's weird paying $5K for Posey, especially at this point in his career, but he's been legit all season long. People aren't going to do it. Heaney, we know he gives us some fly balls. He has some home run tendencies. Posey is batting fourth tonight. Slater, Yaz, Ruff, Posey, and Belt. Then Flores, Wilmer, the second base lefty masher extraordinaire. Let's get a move on. Let's go ahead and talk about first base, which is kind of sort of somewhat loaded. Ohtani, first base eligible on DK, and he's 5.4K, and that seems too cheap for me, especially how easy it is to get him. You can throw him in the outfield as well. You mentioned Scooball, and that's one of the weird things where I think Scooball is good. He's obviously not a complete project, but he's put together some perfectly fine starts, but he's also giving up a lot of homers. And the way the Cardinals are priced today, I'm landing on a lot of Cardinals. I don't feel comfortable about it, but also you're locked in for 9. You got that bullpen as well. And Goldie has got a better price probably in FanDuel than he does on DK, but one of the more appealing options for me. And hey, you can play Walsh as well. Walsh and Ohtani against Disco and his issues historically versus left-handers. What do you have for me as far as first baseman? Besides, of course, Jesus Aguilar.
Yeah, I like Matt Olson. I like Jose Abreu. Trey Mancini is my sneaky play today because Zach Greinke he's like the reverse of Kyle Hendricks. And it's exactly the same. He's depth to lefties. Righties, he's awful. So Trey Mancini is on my list in terms of one-off play. Clearly Walsh. One of my favorites, though, Mr. Bradley, going against Kyle Hendricks. You already know why. Mountcastle, these guys like that. And then at the bottom tier, along with Aguilar, Josh Naylor, Dan Vogelbach, just as one-off plays.
I would just mention the price is wrong. The price is goofy on we have Luke Voigt back today. He's 2.7K on DK. I think he's 2.5 on FanDuel. He hasn't been great this year, in and out of the lineup, a lot of injuries, but that just seems too cheap when you consider his upside. You don't necessarily need the savings. It sounded like you had something else you wanted to say. Is there something you wanted to add?
Oh, and Yandy Diaz against Erod, because Yandy just, Yandy the candy man, not going to strike out a ton.
I was going to say you can do the Bradley stack, but you said you're playing no Astros, so I guess you're not playing Milton tonight, unfortunately.
I'm not playing any Astros.
Keystone position second base. Speaking of the Astros, if you have all the salary in the world, Altuve probably jumping off the page, but as salary savers, you got Jeff McNeil, who is 2.5K on DK. Dylan Moore, one of the worst pitchers going tonight. It's got to be Kyle Freeland. In a small sample, he's given up like 4 homers per 9 this season. I assume, let's see, do we get him in the line? Oh, he's batting 8th. Yeesh. That's not great, but sure, you can play him. What do you have for me as far as second?
Jonathan Scope, the mouthwash.
Yeah.
That's what Dean would call him. So I like him. Jed Lowry, he's 4,200. I like him. Nick Solak. I do kind of like that Texas game a little bit. Jazz Chisholm, of course, at 3,500. He's on my list. John Bertie, even in the 8 spot. If I'm stacking, I'm going all in. So, those are guys that I'm going to be invested in. So not popular plays today, but I'm avoiding most of the big bats at second.
Well, I saw somebody mention Stroman. I thought if there's something an argument, you've got an argument for Stroman. The Braves, your Braves, they got to be tired, right? Isn't this their 5th game in 3 days? They played back-to-back.
Yeah, they played doubleheaders yesterday. Yeah.
Did any of these guys get days off? I feel like they didn't. I feel like Acuna and Freeman and Albies played every single game. I could be wrong on that. But I feel like they just keep running them out. These guys got to be tired, no? A little bit?
Possibly. I'm not playing the Braves today, though, so we're good.
Just a thought. And I like the Jazz call as well. I know I was talking about I'm more on the side of, I don't know if I need it, but I think Stripling should be fine tonight. But the price on Jazz just seems too cheap. 3.5K on DK. I think he's 3K on FanDuel leading off there. He's got some pop. He's got some speed. Love players like that. Let's jump to third, hot corner. We mentioned Toro being absolutely horrific chalk, but he's cheap and he makes things work. Not a especially great player, and also his teammate Garcia with 3.2K on DK batting second, Toro batting 6th at 2.1K. Hey, Nolan Arenado is really expensive on DK, but you got to like him there against the lefty, and Scuba, who's had a short history of giving up too many homers. Where are you landing as far as third?
Well, if I can get it, Jose Ramirez is the guy I want. And then Chris Bryant. I know they're in the same game, but these guys have fantastic matchups. So I like them. I don't hate Matt Chapman. And then if you go all the way down here, Manny Machado is 4,400. I know it's Kershaw, but hey, he's 4,400. And then in terms of my cheap guy, At third, I've got two. I do like Maikel Franco. You're going to see a theme here. Righties against Greinke. So Maikel Franco at 35, I don't hate. And then Jaime Candelario, 3,100 against Oviedo. I do secretly like Detroit today. That's probably my second cheat team behind the Marlins. I do like the Detroit Tigers. I think they have a chance to get to Oviedo here. The K rate and the walk rate are up this season. I don't see any, or the K rate and the X trip are up. I don't see anything that scares me there. So those are kind of my third baseman.
Yeah, Sierra, as far as the slate, number one is the aforementioned Freeland, as far as the worst Sierra at 5.87. Eli Morgan at 5.03, and then there's Johan Oviedo at 4.98. Not a lot of Ks there either. Detroit's hard to roster. Badu's really cheap as well. Miggy's done. Like, I love Miggy. he has a blast out there. He still has a good time, but it's just over, man. It's over for Cabrera. I don't know. Is his contract finally up end of the year? I'm not really sure. But, hey, man, it was a good run. I mean, Marlin fan back in the day, one of my favorite players. I watched him hit a home run against Roger Clemens in the World Series. It was awesome. All right. Who cares about me reminiscing? Hey, you mentioned Franco. There's another Franco on this slate. I'm not sure if you've heard. I feel like you have heard.
Oh, I have.
Jumping over to shortstop, Wander Franco. DK didn't. They didn't get the memo yesterday. I mean, it was all over the interwebs and on the Twitter machine, but how disrespectful. No picture, and he's 2K on DK for the biggest prospect in all of baseball, batting second tonight versus Erod. I love Baez at 4.3. That price seems too cheap against Morgan, who should get pummeled. But right now, like from a cash game perspective, I don't know how you don't play Franco. What are you doing at shortstop?
Yeah, Franco's on the list. You can get Chisholm at shortstop on FanDuel, on DK as well. So I think he's on the list. Freddie Galvis at 3K. While, he is facing Greinke, and Greinke's been better to lefties. Freddie Galvis is a guy that's not going to strike out too much, so he is on my list as well. But absolutely, Wander Franco at 2K. Cash tournaments, I still think you can get away with it.
Yeah, Michael in chat is telling us that Miguel Cabrera's got 2 more years on his contract, apparently. He signed what did Miguel sign? He's like $248 million good for him, man. They might be one of those Pujols things where they buy him out at some point. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. That is rough. I mentioned chat because we're gonna have more than 3 minutes to entertain their questions. We're on the move. We're going fast. Tatis, just throwing it out there, like he's 6.3K. Like that again, we talked about it last night. That was a playoff atmosphere. I'm not sure how much that game you caught. I think you go to bed relatively early, but they were going nuts in San Diego, packed house, LA and San Diego, presume going to see each other down the line at some point. And we got Kershaw versus Snell, and I guess you can call him aces. I don't know if Snell's an ace this year. He's not. He hasn't been. Certainly shown flashes in the past. That should be a
flash
fun
in the
game.
pan.
Tatis, though, and you can get Tatis. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to pay up for him, and I think he's going to be mostly ignored. And who wants to pick on Kershaw? But just throwing it out there. Outfield, I'll throw out some of my favorites. One of my favorite Astros, of course, is Yordan Alvarez. Everybody else loves him as well tonight. Aforementioned Ohtani. Brantley is still too cheap. I have Tyler O'Neill at 3.3K on DK. Like, what are we doing here? That's too cheap. And you consider as a power upside, he even has a little bit of speed. You mentioned Duvall is 3.3 as well. Haniger, I wish was a little bit cheaper, but I like the matchup there against Freeland. We haven't talked about any Yankees, which is kind of scary, but I think I'm going to mostly ignore them. We shall see. But give me a few minutes or just a few of the guys that we haven't mentioned, that I haven't mentioned as far as the outfield before we turn it over to the chat.
Randy Rosarina, Manny Margot. Those are some guys I will be invested in. We already talked about the outfield. Starling Marte, Adam Duvall. Those are going to be guys that I have. In terms of the outfield with the Indians, Eddie Rosario, he's on my list. Josh Naylor's on my list. Jock Peterson's on my list. Even Jason Hayward down in the 7th spot. Nobody's playing old man Jason Hayward that's not going to strike out a lick. If he was ever going to hit a home run, it's today against Eli Morgan. Trust me. So he's on my list. A couple of these Oakland guys are on my list, such as Ramon Liriano, Mark Canha. They're on the list. So those are some of the guys that I will be playing. Robbie Grossman, Detroit. Feels like a great play today. It's going to be very cheap. Nobody's playing Detroit, but I'm telling you, I like them against Oviedo. Not very warm, but Robbie Grossman's a guy that I like leading off there.
One more body parts update. George Springer's back too for Toronto.
Yes.
That makes that lineup a little bit tougher, obviously, for Sandy Alcantara. Couple stacks, and we'll turn it over. We'll get Devin in here. We'll ask some questions on behalf of the chat. Wait, did you say your stacks?
I have a bunch of stat questions saved. We can just jump to that one. We'll just jump into questions.
What's up, Devin?
What's up, guys?
I mean, my stacks
Devin,
on the
what time is it? Out of curiosity.
We got just under 5 minutes. So, all right, Dean, we'll let it stand. Go ahead, Will.
Usain Bolt lightning round. Let's go.
Yes, Usain Bolt lightning round. We're going to start with a quick stacks overview because Halamo in chat was asking for this specific one. Could you rank these 3 stacks? Detroit, Tampa Bay, Cubs. Will?
Cubs, Tampa Bay, Detroit.
Sound good, Will? Or sound good, Dean?
If I had to pick amongst those, the Cubs are my favorites.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to run down a couple of quick stacks. I want you guys to each give me a 1 through 5, how excited you are, 5 being most excited, okay?
All right, I like this game.
All right. Eric says Miami.
5 for me.
2.
Detroit.
5.
2.
Stan says San Fran.
3.
2.5.
All right, sticking with Stan, Yankees stacks.
1.
Man, I'm like the Simon Cowell on this panel, I think. I guess it's a 2.5.
All right, Tampa.
To be clear, there's no 5s. I have no 5s today. There's nobody I'm excited about stacking.
Dean,
so I think that's worth noting.
All these notes you're putting down. Tampa Bay.
4.
I mean, is Wander Franco a stack in itself?
Listen,
A one-man.
everybody. I'm telling you, I think everybody's misreading this. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. I've talked enough about all this crazy stuff I've been looking at today.
I got a 2 for Tampa.
All right, Eric again, KC.
Oh.
0.
Not resounding on that one there for Eric. Dude
I got
asks
a half a star for Kansas City.
Dude asks Cardinals.
3.
Yeah, this is my highest one probably.
Oh no,
I don't feel good about it. I'm so bummed that I can't play.
Wait,
Lars.
Dean, are you telling us that you're playing 10% of everyone now?
No, I'm gonna have on FanDuel especially. I'm gonna have way too much Cardinals, and I don't know if that's what people are doing as well. It's just that's the kind of what works in my build, and I'm gonna have zero Lars Newtbar. He's not available over there, but
The breakfast bar.
3.75. I don't love any stack today. I don't. I can't sit here and pretend like I do.
All right, we're going to hold on to that 1 through 5 ranking system for stacks because that's a popular one on the big ones. We'll jump through these questions real quick. We'll just jump between the two of you guys to finish off the show. Chief, Eric wants to know DK tournaments. Tell me about Stripling.
0. I will have 0 Stripling.
Dean, can you rank Stripling, Singer, and Flexen for tournaments?
Yeah, it's Stripling, Flexen, and Singer for me. By the way, Muncie is back batting 6th tonight.
And Will, can you get a quick 10, 15-second thoughts on Flexen?
I think Flexen is okay because of the matchup. If I had to rank those guys, it would be Singer, Flexen, Stripling. Of course.
So Singer is the winner out of those 3. All right, home run picks, each of you. Dean, start us off.
Oh, I mean,
I got it because
There you
Dean's
go,
taking Jose Ramirez, Adam Duvall, those 2. I'll go with those 2.
He bought you 3 seconds, Dean.
I was listening. Did he say by chance
Chris Bryant.
Lars Newtbar?
He just wanted to say the name again.
So Tyler O'Neill, we're gonna get a couple from the Cardinals. Tyler O'Neill and Goldie. Those guys are going yard. And you know what? I'll take Jazz. Let's take Jazz Chisholm.
Look at this.
Like it.
Smooth Jazz. All right,
Yeah.
This is a good one from Doug. How do you guys decide if your stacks are going to be 4-4, 4-3, 4-2, etc. for FanDuel? Doug here said single game contest. I'm assuming Doug meant single entry contest or 100-man 3-entry. So give me your thoughts on that, and we'll end on this question.
Go ahead, Will.
I don't really have a secret formula. I typically go off more so how my lineup's being constructed. I will say this: typically, if I'm going down at pitcher like 8K or less, I'm probably going 4-4. The higher up I go at pitcher, the more likely I am to go with like a 4-2, 1-1, 4-3-1, 3-3-2. Because the salaries, even though salary isn't as important, you're still trying to get quality bats with the higher tip pitcher. So that's typically my kind of rule of thumb. The more I spend on pitcher, the less likely I'm going to have a 4-4, so forth and so on.
Dean, anything to add, and you can take us home?
Yeah, especially in smaller slates, not slates, smaller contests. Like if the massive ambitious, be as ambitious as you want to be. If you're talking about single entry, it's like 200, 300, 400 people. You don't have to be extremely goofy. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to overthink it. And I'm homer hunting more than like 4-4. Like I'm the kind of guy that's going to go 3-3-2 or 4-2-1-1 and just homer hunt. And it depends upon how many teams I happen to like that day and how many vulnerable pitchers happen to be, how many teams are well positioned. And if there's a bunch, I'm more likely to not play 4 because I think 3 guys are going to go off here, 3 are going to go off here, 4 are going to go off there. And obviously, if you're going 4-4, you're going to nail those perfectly, and you're also going to miss out on a couple guys in some games that may go off. So, and also, I'm not playing 150 lineups. So, and I know there's a bunch of dudes out there that are running. They're actually putting in their script, give me 4 guys every single lineup on this team.
The audacity of me.
The audacity of me. Who do I think I am? I'm going to hand build 5 lineups and somehow come up with a better 4 than this guy running 150? Like, it's supposed it's possible.
I'm starting to hear your lines, Dean.
Yeah.
It is possible. I've done it several times.
It's possible, but math says it's less likely, obviously.
The real question
is less likely. I'm not going to do it every day.
The real question for Dean is how do you land on your 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1?
I don't do that. I know that's a running joke, but you know what? I will answer that question on the next show. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
There you are.
But,
Saved by the bell.
Knocking on the door. I believe, is it Dave Potts? Jesus, good.
It is Grant and 1 Blenderhead, Jordan Cooper.
Oh, there you go.
Let's find out the vomit snacks of the day.
He probably loves the Marlins too. I have not heard what he had to say.
Oh, it's Marlins Day. Like
surely.
I can almost assure you. No, I can't assure you.
We'll let him answer. Dean, take us home.
Roth is on weather as well. Do hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. You get those notifications, let you know tomorrow night. Later on tonight, you get the Card Stock After Lock, talking some cardboard, talking some sports cards, and the free golf show with 3 really good golf dudes, Noto, Cards, and Tambo. That said, if you guys want to get RG Premium, 10% off your first month, Devin will go ahead and drop a link in chat for you guys. 10% off. You can do it one sport, all the sports, yada, yada. We're up against the clock. We got to go. Hopefully we set the table nicely for you guys. Do hit the like button on your way out. That was Chief. That was, I was going to say that was Will. That's the same person. That was Devin. This was Baseball. I was Dean. We're out of here. Holler!